You know, sometimes it really feels like the future of humanity is hanging by a thread, doesn't it? It's like we're all standing on a cliff, looking down at this whirlwind of climate change bearing down on us. Politicians stuck in endless debates, and greed twisting things up right when we need unity the most. It's not a surprise that a lot of folks are feeling like we're teetering on the edge of something huge, like the end of the world is lurking just around the corner. But here's a funny thing about that. Humanity's been thinking that way for centuries. No joke. Every generation seems convinced they're the ones destined to witness the apocalypse. Yet life just keeps on rolling, day after day, century after century. And here's where it gets interesting. This whole end-of-the-world mindset actually does more harm than good. It traps us in this cycle of short-term thinking, making it tough for us to see the bigger picture. We get so wrapped up in the chaos of today, those daily problems, breaking news and social media scrolls, that we forget to look beyond. We forget to dream up the kind of world we want to leave behind for the next generations, for our kids and their kids, and the countless people who'll come after them. Honestly, that's the real tricky part, because in a lot of ways, we might actually be living in one of the most crucial moments in human history. And I mean that in the most literal sense. We're standing at a crossroads where our choices today could either close the chapter on the human story or open up a whole new book full of potential. So let's do something we don't do nearly enough. Let's take a deep breath, zoom out from the chaos of the now, and look at the big picture. How many more humans will be born after us, and how many have already lived? What kind of legacy are we leaving behind? Now bear with me, because this part is where things get a bit fuzzy. It's not like we've got an exact map for this kind of stuff, but let's take a quick trip back in time, shall we? Imagine humans, people like you and me, first showing up about 200,000 years ago. Back then, we were already pretty clever, crafting tools, telling stories around fires, dreaming up big ideas, and working together like the best team the Earth had ever seen. But even with all that genius, our numbers didn't explode right away. Life was tough, resources were scarce, and food didn't exactly grow on trees, you know? It took us about 120 years just to double our population, and then another 50 years to double again. But here we are today, and bam! We're sitting at a solid 8 billion people, all sharing this little blue planet. And get this, over those 200,000 years, about 117 billion humans have come and gone. That means right now, at this very moment, about 7% of all humans who have ever lived are alive. It's like we're in the middle of the biggest party in history, and every minute, 270 brand new guests, babies, are joining the celebration. We're living in a moment of expansion and possibility that our ancestors couldn't have even dreamed of. And hey, if you're enjoying this conversation, if this kind of content gets you thinking and fuels your curiosity, here's a little favor to ask. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. It might seem like a small thing, but it helps us out big time. It means more people get to join in on these big conversations about life, the universe, and everything in between. And if you're feeling extra awesome and want to help us keep creating this kind of thought-provoking content, consider becoming a member. It's one of the best ways you can support this channel and help us continue diving deep into these ideas. Seriously, thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Your support means the world. All right, back to where we were. This is where it gets really cool, blending science with a bit of wisdom from Buddhism. As we've evolved, not just biologically but also mentally and spiritually, we've seen our quality of life shoot through the roof. We're living longer, healthier lives, filled with possibilities our ancestors could never have imagined. This aligns beautifully with Buddhist teachings that guide us to understand our minds, to overcome suffering by making choices that lead to a deeper sense of peace and well-being. Now, let's throw a little curveball into the mix. By the year 2100, Experts think we might reach a peak where 125 million babies are born every single year. That's mind-blowing, right? Of course, things might shift because, hey, life is unpredictable like that. It makes you wonder, will our species ride the wave of our own creativity and innovation into a brighter future, or will we be tripped up by the very inventions we've created? This is our moment, folks. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, looking out at a horizon full of potential. If we can embrace that big picture thinking, if we can hold on to that blend of scientific curiosity and mindful wisdom, then who knows how far we could go. This isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving, about shaping a future that's not just good for us, but extraordinary for all those yet to come. So let's keep dreaming big and making sure our actions today are paving the way for something truly amazing. We're not at the end of human history, we're right at the beginning. Think about this for a second. We've got the power to shape our own destiny, and that means we've also got the power to mess it up big time. On one hand, we've created things that could wipe us out in the blink of an eye, like nuclear weapons, which are like the ultimate oops button for humanity. But on the flip side, we've also come up with some mind-blowing ways to protect ourselves, like figuring out how to steer asteroids away from Earth, or using antibiotics to save millions of lives from deadly infections. It's like this never-ending dance between danger and progress, between risk and innovation, where we're constantly testing the limits of what we can create and what we can control. It's in this dance that we see a reflection of Buddhist teachings, the idea that balance is everything. Just like the Buddha taught us to find peace through mindfulness and harmony, we've got to strike that same balance on a global scale. We need to be both creators and caretakers of our world, making sure that our inventions lift us up instead of bringing us down. And here's the real kicker. Every single day that passes without some epic disaster, every day we don't blow ourselves to smithereens or drain our planet dry, is a chance for the future to get bigger and brighter. Imagine it like planting seeds in a garden. We might not be around to see these trees grow to their full glory, but someday they'll give shade, shelter, and nourishment to generations we'll never meet. That's the power of thinking long-term, of seeing beyond our immediate needs and into the future we're creating with every little decision we make. This idea alone should give us a bit of hope. Sure, the future of humanity might seem shaky right now, like we're on thin ice, but if we can lean into that Buddhist mindset, focus on compassion, mindfulness, and making wise choices, we could turn this moment into something extraordinary. We might just be at the beginning of a whole new chapter in human history, one where we're not just surviving, but thriving in ways we never imagined. Picture this. What if we stay right here on Earth for another 1,000,000 years? That's not just some wild guess. It's actually how long most mammal species hang around, based on what we know from the fossil record. If we play our cards right, if we keep on living and growing at our current rate of 125 million births a year, then we're talking about trillions, yes, trillions, of people who could still be born. That's 850 times more humans than have ever walked this planet. Can you even wrap your mind around that? It's like we're not even at the end of the book. We're barely through the prologue. Those future generations could look back at us and say, those were the folks who started it all. But wait, that's just the lowball estimate. If we think even bigger, if we let our imaginations run wild, we could be looking at a timeline stretching 10 million years into the future, with up to 1.2 quadrillion humans yet to come. That's like flipping this whole doomsday mindset on its head. Instead of feeling like we're racing towards some inevitable disaster, we'd actually be on the verge of something colossal, a future so vast it's almost impossible to grasp. Now let's switch gears for a second. What if we humans decide that Earth isn't enough? I mean, think about it. We went from staring up at the moon in wonder to planting our feet on its dusty surface. If we've come that far, who's to say we won't one day be living on Mars, setting up colonies on the moons of Jupiter, or even building entire artificial worlds. The sun's energy isn't going anywhere for billions of years, and the universe is packed with resources just waiting to be used. It's like we've unlocked the cheat codes to survival, and now we're ready to explore a cosmic playground. This is where our brains, guided by both Buddhist philosophy and neuroscience, come into the picture. Buddhism tells us to focus on our limitless potential, to see every obstacle as a stepping stone to something greater. And neuroscience? It shows us that our brains are wired to dream, to innovate, and to keep pushing boundaries. When you put these two ideas together, the future of humanity isn't just about getting by, it's about evolving, experimenting, and finding new ways to live, love, and explore. Imagine a solar system where trillions of people are spread out across different planets and habitats, each society living in its own unique way. It's like the ultimate test of human creativity, a grand experiment where we get to see just how diverse and resilient life can be. And the best part? If we spread out beyond Earth, our odds of going extinct drop dramatically. Even if one world faces catastrophe, others will still be out there, thriving and carrying the torch of humanity forward. It's like we're hedging our bets in the biggest game of survival ever played. But why stop there? Let's think even bigger. Let's imagine a future where humanity breaks free from the solar system itself and sets its sights on the Milky Way. We're talking about 100 billion stars out there, each with the potential to host life. If we manage to spread across all those stars, if we live among them for billions of years, we're looking at a septillion lives. Yeah, that's a 1 followed by 29 zeros. And if that's not mind-blowing enough, galaxy mergers like the one with Andromeda could open up even more frontiers for us to explore. We could tap into the energy of stars, even harness the power of black holes, and keep the flame of life burning for trillions of years. When you zoom out to this level, humanity's potential feels limitless, like we're only scratching the surface of what we could become. And here's the mind-bending part. If we manage to avoid screwing things up in the next few centuries, almost all the people who will ever live are still out there waiting to be born. Our actions today aren't just shaping the present, they're echoing out into a future filled with quadrillions of lives. It's not just about us anymore. It's about opening the door for a galaxy full of possibilities. This is where the Buddhist idea of mindfulness really shines. It's not just about being aware of our actions today, but understanding their impact on a future that stretches out beyond our wildest dreams. What we do right now is setting the stage for everything that comes next, for everyone who comes next. We're not at the end of the road, we're standing at the starting line of what could be the greatest adventure humanity has ever known. So next time you catch yourself thinking that the world's falling apart, remember this: we're not the last ones to walk this path. We might just be the first. So, here's the thing. Let's flip the script on how we see our place in history. Let's stop thinking that we're living in some final chapter of the human story, like the credits are about to roll. Instead, what if we're actually witnessing the opening scene of something incredible? What if we're the ones who get to lay down the foundation to build the world that's not just good for us, but mind-blowingly amazing for every single soul that comes after us? We're not just a part of history, we're the ones shaping the universe itself, right here, right now. What do you say? Let's make a pact to dream big, to act wisely, and to remember that the choices we make today are like stones tossed into a pond, creating ripples that will spread out for millions, maybe even billions of years. And with that, folks, we've reached the end of this incredible journey together. If you're still with us, first off, a massive thank you. Seriously, it means the world to us that you joined in on this deep dive into humanity's future. Isn't it wild to think that we're not at the end of the line at all, but right at the very beginning of something so much bigger than ourselves? Our actions today aren't just tiny dots in the timeline. They're the sparks that could light up the lives of future generations for ages to come. If this conversation got you thinking, inspired you even just a little, don't forget to drop a like. It's a simple way to let us know you're vibing with this mission of ours. And hey, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell so you'll always be the first to know when we drop more content about personal growth, science, and all the things that help us push humanity forward toward a brighter future. And one last thing, if you found value in this video, why not share it with a friend who could use a fresh perspective on the future? Let's grow this community of dreamers, doers, and believers, people who are ready to make a difference, one step at a time. Thanks a million for watching, for dreaming with us, and for being part of this journey. We'll see you in the next one, ready to take on the universe together.